Agriculture around the world. Everywhere in the world, agriculture is used every day. It is used to produce the food that you eat and the products you use. Do you ever wonder, though, where your food or products come from? What kinds of machines, products, or people produce them? Well, I have taken the top 5 agricultural producing countries in the world and researched them to give you this answer. The top 5 countries consist of China, India, the United States, Brazil, and Japan. Each of these countries works very hard every year to maintain their agricultural standing. Agriculture is what keeps a country thriving. Their economy and workforce depends on it. In China, they have gone through their share of hard times, but have managed to come out on top. In 1983 through 1984, an agricultural reform was launched for China. During this reform, production decisions, rather than being made by the government, were made by the household that owned the property. By the late 1980s, the agricultural system had been mostly reformed to new standards of marketing, and 60% of China's agricultural output were household-controlled. In 1999, China produced 22.1% of the world's grain. China's main crops are rice, wheat, corn, kailang, millet, potatoes, and soybeans. China is also the world's leading rice producer. India is the world's second largest agricultural producer. They also have the second largest amount of arable in the world. India is the second largest producer of paddy rice and the world's largest producer of milk. Their other main crops are sugarcane, wheat, groundnuts, and certain vegetables. Their largest export is milled rice. The United States holds 10% of India's trade. India's farming output has become all self-sufficient. India never followed the Industrial Revolution and still uses more antediluvian methods of farming. The United States follows closely behind India, being the world's 3rd largest agricultural producer. In the United States, about 22 million people produce part of the world's food and fiber, and about 90% of the United States farms are operated by families. The average agriculturalist in the United States profits 23 cents of every dollar spent on the produced product. Every year, about $6 million of these products are exported. In 2008, agricultural productivity was at 5.89%. United States farmers produce approximately $100 billion worth of crops and $100 billion worth of livestock per year. The United States is the world's top producer of corn. Their main crops are corn, soybeans, alfalfa, wheat, cotton, sorghum, and rice. Brazil is still a major producer, even though it is the world's 4th largest agricultural producer. Brazil's top crops are coffee, sugarcane, oranges, cassava, cashews, tobacco, and cottonseed. In 1964, a law was made in Brazil called the Land Statute Law of 1964. This law was designed to help modify the agricultural structure and increase output. It also said the federal government could expropriate unused land and offer compensation on that land. The land was then redistributed to farmers. This, in turn, increased Brazil's production. By the late 1970s, agricultural development increased when an expansion of power, transportation, and communication took place. Last but not least, Japan is the world's 5th largest agricultural producer. Japan has the world's largest market for United States agricultural exports. Livestock production occupies about half of the gross value of Japan's agricultural output. Their main crops are tea, mushrooms, rice, sugar, beet, and certain vegetables and fruits. Almost all of Japan's farms are self-sufficient. In Japan, it is considered a financial burden to own equipment to work the crops on a farm, so they are considered more antediluvian as well. I hope this put a lot more in perspective for you. The purpose of every country in the world is to reach a good economical standpoint. They can often achieve this through agriculture. All 5 of these countries have people, agriculturalists, hard at work every day, striving to make a living and provide food and fiber for everyone, everywhere. Now, when you pick something up at the grocery store and it says, "Made in China," you have a better understanding of where it came from and the kind of people that produced it. I will leave you with this quote written by Samuel Johnson. "Agriculture not only gives riches to a nation, but the only riches she can call her own."